Together we are but first coffee. Susie's just our host, but what matters most is we are a team. Together we are all safe here, and so are you. Among friends and mods we are safe. We talk about trauma, break down drama of life, death, happy or sad, even mad. We discuss it all here. Together we will thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Together we fight cults or fight addictions, if not with experience, with love, and we don't judge. Please understand, this is a safe place to land. Please understand, you're not alone. This is a safe place to land. Together we thrive, not just survive. We will dry each other's tears, celebrate big or small wins, and chase away the fears. Because we are but first coffee, and Susie welcomes us all here. Together we are but first coffee, and Susie.
Hey everybody, good to see you. So it looks like there's a few people here. A lot of my mods are here, so that's great. It's kind of a strange time of day for me, so I'm figuring that this will be one that a lot of people will catch on the replay, and that's always fine. So I do appreciate those of you that are here and with us today for this live, but if not, we also very much value the lurkers or the replay crew. So we just like everybody. Well, not everybody. There are a few that we don't like, but they're not here. So anyway, I just was wondering how everybody's doing today. I was just, do you know it's only 83 here today? That's kind of odd. That's the high of the day. It should start dropping after this. And it's very cloudy, so yet another weekend that I did not get to get in the pool, y'all. I'm getting a little frustrated with Mother Nature. Hence this live. So anyway, if y'all are in the chat or whatever, let us know what the weather's doing where you're at too. Like, is it normal? Is it cooler than normal? Hotter than normal? You know, just how is it? What's it doing? Do you like the way it is, or do you like the way it should be? Or I don't know, just any kind of weather related stuff. I'm always very interested in it. I know the weather's one of those subjects supposed to be like the safe subject to talk about, but y'all, sometimes I can even make the weather just a little bit spicy, and I might do that a little bit today. So anyway, I do want to get started, but I'm going to check with the chat. And right now it looks like it's mostly the ones in the chat anyway. I see that we do have some lurkers, but the ones in the chat are mostly my mods. But that's the beauty of having so many mods, is because some days one or two can be here, and then other days they're all here. So it's just, it's just fun. I love it when they're here. And the mods are people that were here every day anyway. So now they just get to be one big little family in there. So big little, okay, whatever, but you know what I mean. So anyway, Steve, it is good to see you. Always glad to see you. Hope you're doing well today. Jersey, hey, good to see you. Mayor's here. I'm telling you, she's always here. Now, Mischief is in the back. She will be starring comments. So remember those Q's and C's, if you will, please. But she's still not feeling great. She has really just gotten overtired, and she worries me to death. So anybody that wants to fuss at her in the chat can. She said she's not going to come out into the chat though, so because she's just like not feeling herself. So anyway, but she's back there hiding lurking around. So Mayor's here. Evie's here. Hey, Evie, good to see you. Mayor says it's hotter than normal, so I'm hiding in the basement. Yeah, I get it, girl. I get it. Like last year, it was really hot here. Like we had a lot of over hot days, over the norm for us. But this year, it's been weird. I mean, it's been hot. I'm not going to say it's not been hot, but I don't think we've broke 100. And I mean, this is July, which it could still happen. August is usually horrible, horrible, y'all. So anyway, so Heat says, hold on, I'm hitting that button. Heat says that our weather has been unpredictable, can't decide what it wants to do. Yeah, well, I have an answer for that. I think I know. I think I have figured it out. Evie says it's warm for Northern Ireland. Wow. I don't know why. I just always thought that it like never really got warm in Ireland. Like I just can imagine just being able to wear like a sweater or something year round or a hoodie and just being all snuggly. So I don't know. I want to go there so bad. The more that I think about places that I really want to go, and the quicker or the closer that it gets to Mark actually retiring and us actually getting to do a little bit of traveling, the more Ireland has moved up onto the list. I mean, it's probably honestly right at number 1 now. I do want to go to Germany just because our son and his family are there. It's my bulldog. So if y'all hear scratching and snorting and snoring, it's her, Poppy. So anyway, so Jersey says that it's hot here in New Jersey and muggy, cloudy, but no rain. Yeah, it's real cloudy here and muggy. Mark's out on the lawnmower. He waits. I don't understand this man. I don't. He will wait till the heat of the day. Now today it's not that bad, so I'm not like, but he'll just like fart around the house doing, who knows what, maybe work a little because he works from home on the weekends. And if he hadn't, I think he's probably done. It looks like he's got everything kind of stacked up. But if he's not, or if it's Saturday, sorry, he will, work from home, but he'll do that in the morning when it's cool. And then when it gets hot, out he goes and starts messing in the garden, starts mowing the grass and weed eating. And I'm just like, you need to flip the switch, babe. Need to flip the switch. So, yeah, he says he's been learning about Ireland these days. Yeah. As you fly through it in your simulator. I think that is so cool. I think it's amazing. Yeah, Mayor says our mods are one big happy family. We sure are. We sure are. And we just worry about each other. If somebody gets a little quiet, it's like, okay, I'm gonna let it go for a little bit. But if it goes more than like a day, then we're like, you better be on vacation and forgot to tell us. Because if not, yeah, we are headed to find out what's wrong. Aw. Yeah. We love having you here. We truly do. We love having you on the channel and just in general. But then I was backstage one day and I told Mischief, I said, I ought to just go over there and mod him and see what he thinks. See how long it takes him to notice he's got a wrench. And she goes, do it. And I said, well, I've been thinking about it, but I haven't asked him. And she goes, just do it. And I thought, well, if he don't want to, he can say, no, thank you. So I popped it on there. Boom, he knew it immediately. He saw it like immediately. Aw, yeah. Oh, really, Mayor? Yeah. Your sister and sons went to Ireland and they loved it. Yeah. I would love to visit Ireland, Scotland, and Australia. Those are like on my top 2. And everybody keeps saying that I won't want to go to Australia because of the spiders and snakes. But I just might have to put my good, my big girl panties on and do it anyway. I mean, if I stay where they're not going to sneak up on me kind of thing. Carry a big stick. I don't know. Have to do. Can you see me? I'll be like, is there anything I can spray that's like a spider and snake repellent, but it can't stink because I don't want to stink, y'all. You don't know because I'm just here on, on a screen, but I never stink. I cannot stand to stink. I am like a bath and shower addicted. I like sometimes I take like 3 a day, and I have all the perfumes and all that. I even got that real fancy expensive one. I don't know if I like it or not. Can't remember the name of it. My mind just went completely blank. But the one that Relatable Reese got from a friend, yeah, I was gifted that, not by a friend, by my husband, and not a great big bottle. He just wanted to get enough that I could try it. So bigger than a sample, but not the, $600 or $700 bottle by any means. So yeah, there's lots of safe tourist spots in Australia. I have to go to Bondi Beach. I have to go there because, my future next husband is there if anything happens to Mark. And I think he's married too. So anyway, but I do want to go there. Yeah, y'all have to tell me like what's to do where you're at, because we've been thinking about taking over the fall. We've been thinking about taking some quick like 4 or 5 day road trips, and so it wouldn't be impossible that we might show up where some of y'all are. Now I'm not gonna make it all the way to Canada. I wish I could, but some of you, if you live a little closer, I might be able to get some time in before it gets too cold. And Mark does not like to drive when the roads have snow or ice, which I don't blame him. It's just like a pain in the butt, and why take the chance, right? Is it overrated? Yeah, well, I don't really care about the beach. I just want to see the lifeguards. Yeah, that's my worry. So you live close to there? Cool. Well, if I ever get there, I'm going to be knocking on your door. I'll let you know in advance, though, because I don't like people knocking on mine without advance warning. I might not have pants on. I might have like just a t-shirt, and well, I usually have some kind of pants, but they might be some ratty ass pajama bottoms. So, hey, Poet, good to see you. Yeah, Hot Springs in Arkansas is pretty cool. Yeah, we actually got married in Eureka Springs. So we go there a lot. We haven't been in a while, but we've been kind of talking about it. And then we also go to Branson, Missouri some for like those just quick weekend trips. But I don't know. We like to just, head out for a little bit of time. So anyway. Oh, another thing I was going to tell y'all before I get started, because I'm just jabbering. Goodness. I'm not going to change the song, but I'm going to change the video part, the pictures on the on the intro and outro. And what I want y'all to do, I'm not going to do it right now because I don't have the stuff I want to do it with. Anybody that would, please send me pictures of where you live, of you, of whatever that you don't mind being in an intro. And I'm going to take those that are on there off and put pictures of all of our viewers and stuff on there. That's what I just think it'd be so cool because, hey, Eric, we are a family here and we always say that. And so I just want it to be very welcoming. And I mean, you don't have to like look fancy in the pictures or anything. If you got something where you're making a funny face or you with your kids or your grandkids or doing something that on vacation, whatever, I don't care what it is. But I did run the email across the bottom of the screen. So if y'all could get me pictures of that. And like I said, it could be places too. People, places, and things. Your pets, I don't care. We're going to just have lots of pictures. And I just want to run them fairly fast. Not like where people's like, what was that? What was that? But, fairly fast. And the more we get, the better. And I'll put them on the intro and some on the outro. And just, I don't know. I just thought about that last night when I was supposed to be sleeping. That might be an interesting thing for some of us to get to see, people in our little community, in our little family, since I'm the only one that has to have her face on the screen. So anyway, y'all, I am going to get started. But if you could send me those pictures either to my Facebook Messenger or to the email that's listed on the bottom of the screen, either one would be absolutely great. And, no pressure. But I would really love it. That's really what I kind of envisioned whenever I started with the new intro, but I was like in a hurry to get it. And so I just went ahead with what I did. But I really want to swap that out and get some pictures of all of you and us. And like I said, people, places, things, your dogs, your cats. I don't care. I don't care what it is. We just, it would just be great. I think it would be awesome. And I haven't seen anybody else's that's like that. So we would be like, groundbreaking. So anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, y'all. I'm just rattling off. I bet you I can't even see Mischief's face. I've got her put down a little bit right now. She's probably like going, tick tock. Yep. Right now she's doing this. I can see your hands at the very top. So anyway, I am going to check. Oh, I already did check in with the chat. See, I'm just like not with it. But yeah, nobody else has come in that I can see. So, yeah. You love one of your beaches there. It's called Spanish Banks. Ooh, when the tide is out, it feels like you can almost reach the giant ships. Oh my God, that would be so awesome. I was watching one of my favorite, I know I'm rattling on again. I need to do just one where I just talk, right? Where you all talk and I talk. So anyway, I was watching one of my favorite YouTube couples, and we're going to talk about them a little bit on one next week when we're talking about like disabled people's achievements and stuff, like some of the famous disabled people's achievements. And they have a channel, and the husband is disabled. And anyway, they had a quick trip. I mean, they're kind of a big deal. And they were in Oregon. And oh my God, now I just have got to go to Oregon and Washington and all that. I cannot wait. I want to go there. But everything that they said and did and showed in Oregon was gorgeous. And I haven't been there since I was a teenager. And when I was there then, we were just there dealing with cattle stuff. So I didn't get to do any kind of like, touristy things or anything, but all the food looked amazing. And I mean, just everything. It just, I don't know. I mean, there's beaches and stuff there, but these beaches were like rocky and more scenic. Mark, he loves his tropical vacations, but this girl gets hot. And a lot of the medicines that I take makes me even more, heat intolerant and cold intolerant. So I have to find places that are somewhere in the middle. We are going now. We're going to book the hotel tomorrow. Mark's got all of his information about his points at work. He forgot to bring it home, or else we would have done it this weekend. But we are going the last weekend of August. We're going to Rapid City, South Dakota. So I've got an aunt and uncle and a cousin and her husband and their son that all live there. So I'm really excited. I'll have to tell you all that whole story one of these days, because okay, I'll just say this part really fast because it'll just make you want to hear the whole story. So anyway, my aunt is my mom's sister, but my mom didn't know she existed. Like, she found out about it a few years ago, but she didn't know who she was. All she knew was that she was adopted, that the sister was adopted out. And she didn't know any of the details or how to go about finding this woman, because, she thought that she was born in San Antonio, and she knew within about, 2 or 3 years what year. But let's face it, there's a lot of births in 2 or 3 years in San Antonio. And so she just didn't know. Well, what had happened was my grandparents, which is so big of them, so liberal, y'all, that way back, not even kidding, in the 50s, okay, they had a child purposely to let it be adopted by a couple that didn't have children. So, yeah. So my Aunt Claudia got to be adopted into a family, and it was really rough on my grandmother. She like immediately turned around and had her last child. I think it was much harder on her than what she thought it was going to be. But anyway, isn't that crazy for in the 50s? I mean, you hear about that kind of stuff. I've got a friend that is right now this week in San Diego. She is a surrogate, and she's already had one baby for these people, and she's there to get implanted with the embryo of another one. And so I'm just like, oh my God. If I swear, if I mean it's amazing the things that science can do now, but my grandparents, they had to do it the old-fashioned way. I mean, they just got pregnant and let them adopt this baby. But anyway, so we were in Hawaii, and it's a big long story, so I'm not going to go into that. But somehow, I mean, it's a big long story. But my aunt and uncle figured out that I'm my mom's daughter, and I was way more active on social media than a lot of my, like my mom and stuff. And anyway, somehow or another, they found me, and they called me when I was in Hawaii. And I was flipping out because she sent me the picture of my aunt, and she's like identical to my youngest aunt. And so there was absolutely no doubt that this was not some kind of a crazy thing, which my mom had told me about it when she found out about it. And so I was the one that was actually trying to do all kinds of stuff. I was trying to do DNA things on those websites and stuff, trying to find her, but she found us. So anyway, I've seen her about 5 or 6 times, I think. And we're going to go visit them. Long story. That took oh my gosh, she's going to be so mad at me. That took 5 minutes. But isn't it incredible, Mare? I just think it is absolutely incredible. Yeah. I'm supposed to be going to Clearwater, Florida in December. So yeah, that's another little trip. And I want to drive, but Mark's like freaking out. Don't want to drive because he's afraid that the roads will be bad. So I guess we're going to fly. But I love road trips because I like to be able to stop at all these little things along the way. And if we buy anything that we can, pack at home without having to ship it home or whatever. So, but we'll probably fly. He just won't let me buy anything, which would be better, really. So anyway, hey, Kimberly, good to see you. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a while. Now, I saw you last night in Crickets Live, so it's good to see you. Yeah, Amtrak would be great. Great Game in the Sky. That would be really great. He wants to do that. We've talked about taking the train from Oklahoma City down to Fort Worth, and so we might do that sometime, too. That is so crazy cheap. I mean, it's cheaper than a tank of gas. So for both of us, it's cheaper than the gas. So I don't know. We'll just have to, but the hotels in Fort Worth are so expensive around that whole area where you come in at. So I don't know. It's kind of weird. Now, some people take the train down and then immediately get back on it and take the train back so they don't have to stay in a hotel. But I like to do things, at least for a day or two. But anyway, y'all, I'm going to get started. I am just so glad to see everybody. And Kimberly, I hope you come back. I really do. Come and see us. So, anyway, so we're going to talk a little bit about the weather and I'm going to hit on the weather, and I'm going to hit on what is causing it and what we can do for our mental health while we try to deal with this. Now, remember, I'm not a doctor, but I have a really good internet connection, and I can look up stuff and then just tell y'all what I looked up and found. So it's cheaper. It's cheaper than going to the doctor, right? But, I'm not discounting doctors by any way. I am very much pro mental health doctors and medications and anything you need. But anyway, y'all, if you ask me, someone, not gonna point no fingers, but someone forgot to renew Mother Nature's happy pills. And I don't want to point no fingers, but I think I figured out where it came from. I think I have figured out who it was, because we all know everything is Aaron's fault. So I think I'd at least be able to get in on some of this Aaron's fault and blame him, don't you? I think that we all just need to know where it came from. I'm just kidding, sort of. So anyway, 1 minute we are just baking hot, right? And I'm not talking about me specifically here in Oklahoma. I'm talking about in general, okay? So 1 minute we're just baking hot like a hot pocket in Phoenix, y'all. And the next, the cows are flying through the air like some kind of, the original Twister movie. I wrote down like Twister because I keep forgetting the name of that movie. But anyway, yeah. Did y'all see that movie where the cows are like, moo? I was like, oh, please, please. And it was set here in Oklahoma. I'm like, y'all gonna have people thinking if they come to Oklahoma that they're gonna see cows flying through the air mooing. I mean, they might fly through the air, but they're probably not mooing. And if so, it's so loud you wouldn't be able to hear them. But anyway, and the funny thing is the kind of cows that they were are not even what we really have a whole lot of here. So I don't know why that they use those Jersey cows when we have Angus. But anyway, that's just my little gripe about that Twister movie. But anyway, I was afraid that people were going to start thinking that they're going to see these, that's what tornadoes do, that it's kind of fun kind of deal. Or just like everybody that comes here thinks that the Indians still live in the teepees. No, they have houses. They have cars. They don't ride around on those, painted ponies. I mean, they do in rodeos and stuff, but not like they don't go to town like that. But anyway, so sometimes it's just like really hot like that. And this is July. We should not be having tornado warnings in July. I mean, that's usually like, I don't know, between April and June. June, it should start coming down a little, but, it doesn't. Not lately. So anyway, y'all, grab your weather-worn emotional support beverage because we're talking about the weather. And we know how that can go. Up and down, up and down. And we are also going to talk about how to guard our mental health when we are having all of these catastrophes that have been hitting like crazy lately. Because it has been a whole big thing. And we're just going to have to try to figure out how to make it until Mother Nature's meds kick back in because she's off her rocker at the moment. So, y'all, it really has been a lot between the terrible floods in Texas and New Mexico and the fires in the West and the storms doing gymnastics in the South and the Midwest and tropical storms in the East and, oh, geez, tornadoes in Florida, for God's sakes, and Hawaii. They're on fire again. I just don't get it. It's everywhere. And I don't know about y'all, but I am just mentally, I'm on the edge. Like I can't take a whole lot more of it's the death and devastation that gets to me. And then I actually feel bad for feeling like that I'm on the edge, and that I'm stressed out because it's like the worst thing that's really happened to me that's weather related is that I've only been able to get in the pool like 5 times the whole stinking summer. So, I mean, that's not. Yeah, in New Mexico. Oh, I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up and I'll get back to you on it. But yeah, they had a flood. It's not as bad as the one in Texas, but it's bad. So, anyway, y'all, I don't know. I seriously, this whole thing this whole live kind of was sprung on the fact that I just was like finding myself more and more and more depressed. Okay. So anyway, like the rest of you, I'm an empath. So if anybody is upset or sad or, in any kind of, just bad way, I feel it. I feel it for them. I mean, obviously not as bad as them, but it just hurts me deep down. And I don't know, y'all. I get so tired of Mother Nature and her damn temper tantrums. I don't know what we're going to do about it. I really don't. She's just acting a fool. So, anyway. So, I am going to get kind of serious for a minute. I'm trying to bring myself back down from all the, giggles. Because I do want to talk a little bit about the devastation in Texas and in New Mexico, and I absolutely forgot to write down the name of that town. If any of my mods are close or the county or whatever it was in, if y'all can look it up real fast and just put it in the chat, that would be great. So anyway, the latest numbers in Texas, they haven't changed over the weekend, and even the deals show that they haven't changed over the weekend. So I'm really scared that that's going to go up. I'm really afraid of it. I'm afraid that it's going to go up. So once Monday or Tuesday hits. But anyway, the latest numbers in Texas are 129 confirmed dead, and more than 160 are still considered missing and feared dead. Yeah, it was in Kerrville. No, that's Texas. No. Yeah, that's Texas. The one, oh yeah, Ruidoso. That's it. Yeah, Ruidoso. That's it. Yeah. Ruidoso in New Mexico. Ruidoso. I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm probably getting it wrong. But yeah, so there are 129 confirmed dead in Texas and 160 that are still considered missing, but that has not changed. So they may have found some of those over the weekend, but they are, officially feared dead. So, hey, Awakened. I saw a couple other people, but I've missed them. I'll catch you later, though. See you. And anyway, as for New Mexico, I don't trust the numbers. I really don't. Hey, Mr. Todd, Journey, Ben. They are claiming that they have 3 that have died, which include 2 children ages 4 and 7. But that is like a mom, I think, and her 2 children, or a dad and their 2 children. And they didn't have any word that I saw on how many were missing. But I don't trust that. I know it's wrong. I know it. I absolutely know it's wrong. Because I watched a news program just last night when I was supposed to be sleeping, according to Mare. But if she knew I was up, then I know she was up too. So, pot, meet kettle. Anyway, so there was this man on the news, and he was really angry, and I felt so bad for him. And they talked to him for quite a while, actually. I think it was like the unedited version of it. Like a lot of the news crews, they're putting up their unedited stuff on the internet and just doing the edited stuff on the actual news, on the TV part. So, hey, Vernon, good to see you too. Scooter's anti-cult report. Good to see you too. Anyway, so this man, bless his heart, he said that he was in his home and that he heard water hitting the back wall of his house. And he looked out the window or something, and he could see that it was a huge boat. I think he must work on them or something, because he said he had a bunch of boats there. But this one, it was like a yacht, a big boat, not like a, millions of dollar yacht, but a big yacht, was in the front yard. And he knew that it was supposed to be in the backyard, so that he knew immediately that it was flooding, and it was flooding bad. But he said he could hear banging and water on that back wall, which is right where his head was at. And so he got up, woke his wife up. They got the kids and the dogs, and they were trying to decide what they were going to do, because it's already flooded. They didn't know what they were going to do. And at this point, I think the water was not in the house yet. But anyway, while they're still trying to figure out what in the hell they're going to do, the house tore in half, and so they were sent out. They went down under the house. It was just ripped in half. It went down under the house. He got his legs stuck between the wood and some concrete and stuff, but he got himself out. But he absolutely lost sight of his wife and kids, which they were, I think, 15 and 16, a boy and a girl. So anyway, he rode on the roof, or part of the roof of his house, for miles, until he finally, got to somewhere where he could get off of that, and get to some help. And so I thought, well, his wife and 2 kids are missing then. But he did say that they found his son's body, and that he didn't make it, obviously, and that he knows that at this point, he said, there is absolutely no way that my wife and daughter are alive. He said, I know they're not. I just can't imagine that they would be. And it just broke my heart. And so we know that that's 3 people right there that are not in that count. And so that long-winded explanation is why that I don't believe that. So he's also very angry because they haven't had until I think yesterday anybody from like the county or whatever that was there, um, helping with the search and rescue and stuff. And he said that the ones that were doing the search and rescue were actually contractors that, they get paid, or sometimes they do it for free. But anyway, they're like contractors. And one of the things that they do is they go around to these different disasters and they help look for people. And in fact, it was the contractors that found those two children that were missing, and they've died. So I didn't see in all the reports that I watched last night. Now, I'm not saying it's not happening. I'm just saying everything that I watched. I didn't see military. I didn't see police. All I saw was people. No, I take that back. I got something wrong. I'm going to back up. Retraction. It was not those people that found the boy and girl. It was people who were out looking for their lost relatives that found the boy and girl. So it could have just been like you or me. Not even somebody that is trained for that sort of thing, or, and I can't imagine. They found the little boy first, and then they found the little girl. And then some other people, just people, found an older man that he somebody was with him and his wife. They were in their 70s, and the people that were with them, that they made it out, but they said that the older man and his wife were actually holding hands when the water swept them away. Well, they found these just people that were out looking for their friends, and neighbors found him, but not the wife yet. I mean, unless they have now. This was, I watched it last night. And so like a lot can change. There may be a lot of military there. There may be the county and everything might be there now. But this was yesterday. I mean, and that was a few days after this flood. And these contractors were clearing, they had heavy equipment and stuff there and were clearing stuff away. There was another family that for some reason something caught their eye in a tree out in the flood in the river part in front of their house. And this was, several hours afterwards. And they found a woman up in the tree. She hollered at them, so she's alive. But she was with her mom, her aunt, and her cousin, and somebody else, because there was her mom, her aunt, her cousin, and someone else and her, because there was 5 family members. And so far, she's the only one that's been found. So they said that they called the authorities when they got her, and I'm not even sure how they got her, but they got her. I can't remember how they said, and I know how they did it. And my mind's just overwhelmed. But anyway, so they got her out of the tree. It had stripped her clothes off of her and everything. So they got her to the house. They covered her up in towels and blankets and all that. And they eventually got authorities there to kind of check with her and everything. They had given her food, water, gave her a nap, like let her lay down and rest. And when the authorities got there, they basically said, we got bigger fish to fry. And they left her there with these people that she doesn't even know, which I get it. And yet at the same time, I'm like, crap. So I don't know who these authorities were. He said, but it was like a park ranger. It was a park ranger was who that was. And so they were just going around trying to like get a count of who was missing or something. They weren't actually out looking for people. So anyway, so yeah, they left her with them, and it took a while, but her grandmother was able to come and get her. So she's potentially lost 4 members of her family that we, no idea where they're at unless something has happened since then to say it. So one guy, he brought 8 dogs that he's training that are doing search and rescue, and he had all those dogs out there, and he said that they are trained to look for, alive or not. And so those dogs, they were really sniffing, and I don't know. And then I watched another family that are in Texas, y'all, that the daughter was in that Mystic camp, and the son, they're both like, well, they're twins. I think they're 14 or 15. And the son was at an all boys camp 6 miles away, and they didn't know if each other had survived, but they both survived. So that family, both of their children were spared. But the thing is that they feel guilty because of, survivor's guilt. So the mental health part of this is going to go on for all of us. For all of us watching, but for the ones that are living through it, it's really bad. And I was going to answer just really quick while I'm thinking about it on Vernon's question. No, they haven't found it's not my family, but it's my family's friends. They haven't found them. So they're in that 160 still. Yeah. It's just, Texas is getting a lot of help, and I'm thrilled. Don't get me wrong. I am absolutely thrilled they're getting so much help, but I'm really worried about the people in New Mexico, and I don't understand the lack of government help. And so I don't know. It's just all breaking my heart. And so I figured that if it's breaking my heart, it is you all too, because I think that this channel is just full of empaths. I think that that's why we get along so well, is that we all are just incredibly empathetic to people. And so I thought, well, today, let's look into all this. So I've been praying a lot, but I've also been consulting scientific explanations for Mother Nature's vengeance, y'all. And I don't know. I know it's a controversial subject, but we need to prepare ourselves just a little bit for the inevitable. There is one explanation, and y'all, it is just sitting there like a big old elephant in the room, and we don't want to talk about it. But some of us believe in it and some of us don't. But when we get down to it, it is climate change, which includes global warming. They're the same thing. And trust me, like I said, I know it's controversial, but it's also science. And so, anyway, I was looking this up because I wanted to have I needed an easy explanation for myself, because we hear so much and it's just a lot of, scientific stuff. So I looked it up, and it said, according to NASA, the weather varies day to day and from place to place. So I get that. I get that that's weather. But climate is the average of all that weather over a long period of time across the entire globe, the whole damn globe, y'all, not just the US or Canada or Australia or whatever, the whole globe, which that all made more sense to me so far. So basically, while it may feel a little bit cooler than normal here in Oklahoma where I'm at, it's probably hotter than normal somewhere else, just like where Mischief is at in the Northwest. It is hotter there than what it normally is. And so that's why they say climate change. It's more that we've kind of, deemed it as global warming, but which it does go into global warming. I'm going to explain that in a minute. But the climate is changing. We can't deny that whenever we're having tornadoes where we've never had them before, and record floods that should never happen, and just all of it. If you just look at one thing, it's like not that big of a deal. But if you look globally, what's going on all over the world, it is really, really scary. And so it is kind of strange, because like nobody really argues with that there's climate change, that the climate is changing. I mean, we know that's obvious, but they get, it gets iffy when you start talking about global warming. So but it is literally the same thing, and one is causing the other. So anyway, so according to NASA Goddard, and I wrote these down so I wouldn't forget. The NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies says that the Earth's surface temperature has risen 2 degrees Fahrenheit or 1.1 degrees Celsius since 1880. And that might not seem like a big deal to us, because I was like, we're getting really like Fruit Looping out over 2 degrees, but that's not the deal. It's according to scientists, it's really serious. So no matter what we do, the sun has set his sights on the earth, y'all. He is not happy. So anyway, so I can already hear some of the whispers, well, what about all the cold, Susie? What about where it's colder than normal? And I said that too. I said it too. So it did say that the warmer weather destabilizes the jet stream and causes cold snaps in places where it's normally mild, that all of a sudden they'll be getting much colder weather. Just like how in Savannah, they've been getting, ice storms and all this. I mean, it's been crazy. Like it was crazy, crazy hot in October, like 100 degrees. But then in December, they had ice and snow and stuff. And neither of those are normal. Neither of those. So it's this, fluctuation. So, yeah, they said that it causes cold snaps in normally mild places. And so, we're just seeing crazy, crazy weather that we're not used to seeing. Everything's kind of topsy-turvy. So, yeah, I'm just a YouTuber. Don't take my word for it. Look it up, but give it a chance, because science knows a lot of stuff, y'all, that is absolutely above our pay scale, above our bandwidth, above what we even want to understand, right? And for sure, it is above the knowledge of our politicians, no matter which side of the aisle they sit on. I don't care if they plant their asses right smack in the middle of both aisles, they still don't know what the hell they're talking about most of the time. So, with all that said, what can we do, right? What can we do to help, at least help slow down climate change? And I'm going to try to refer to it as climate change, because that makes a whole lot more sense to me. I understand that 2 degrees may not seem like a whole lot, but that's the Earth's surface. Imagine what it is at the core, where it's already incredibly hot, right? So imagine what it is at the core. And so if we look at it like that, maybe it gets a little less scary and a little less like weird. But so I did look up these little tips here, if I can get them to show up. These are just 10 things that we can do, just normal people can do, that will help. And if everybody started doing it, or if a lot of people started doing it, it would make a difference. So drive less, walk more. Now, I live out in the sticks. I'm 7 miles from town. I can't walk up to the grocery store, but some people can, and so that helps a lot. A lot of people ride their bikes, that kind of thing. Even in some cities, you can take an electric golf cart or something, and that's better than all of the fumes from the gas and everything being in the atmosphere. So another thing they say is to eat less meat and dairy. And that one I'm like, what? I think I could do it for a while, but maybe the eat less. I don't know that I could ever just be like a total vegetarian, but I would be willing to try it. I mean, if I had to, I could, of course. I love just about every vegetable except for beets and hominy. I think that's about the extent of things I don't eat. Anyway, yeah. Number 3, buy local and seasonal. Absolutely. Absolutely. I am a big proponent of shopping local. I like to get all of our meat when possible from a local meat processing people, I mean, they have it, it is farm to table. They literally, they have a farm there. They raise their chickens there, their eggs there. They raise their cattle, their pigs, everything, and they are now able to butcher it and package it and everything, and they've got all their approvals. And I like that better than who knows where it's coming from, because a lot of our meat and stuff literally comes from like Mexico, and I mean it's crazy. And the same with our produce. And so I really try. I go to farmers markets as much as I can. And, you know, they used to be crazy expensive, but I think that people are really, at least where I'm at, they're kind of seeing that they actually do better if they sell a little cheaper. And so it's gotten a lot better. Here's one that I am really struggling with, y'all. Trying so hard, and that is to cut food waste. Now, for a while, to kind of train myself to use less food, I started buying from one of those food services where they send you all the stuff and it's already, you know, you need exactly this many ounces of this and this package of that and this, that, and here's this vegetables, which went against my trying to buy locally. But I was trying it out to break the habit of overcooking or overbuying. Because y'all, if I make spaghetti, I make this huge freaking pot of spaghetti. I cannot make just enough spaghetti for me and Mark, or me, Mark, and Dad. No matter what I do, I start out great, you know, and I think, okay, this is what it says to use for 2 people or 3 people or whatever. And I do that. And then I'm like, that's not enough. And so I add to it. Well, then you got to add more. If I add more pasta, I got to add more meat. And then I got to add more sauce. And then pretty soon I've got enough that I literally feed us, Megan and their family, my dad, and I've even sent stuff over to my aunt before and still have leftovers. I have really, you know, got to work on the cutting food waste. So I did that for a while, and it did help me. I have gotten a lot better at trusting what it says, and I've went back to buying locally again, and not the, you know, the prepackaged. Well, it wasn't prepackaged. It was packaged up, but it was fresh stuff. You know, it wasn't like throw it in the microwave kind of prepackaged. It was just, this is how many ounces of steak you need, or chicken breast, or sausage, or you know, whatever. So anyway, that's kind of what I was doing. But I've gotten better at it. But I'm not gonna lie, I made vegetable soup a couple days ago, and there's probably still some in there that I'm gonna have to have Mark maybe throw out, because I think this might be, well, he can probably eat it today if he wants to for lunch. But I have a strict 4-day policy on most things. Someday it's less, or some things it's less. But yeah. So do any of you all struggle with that, with the food waste or overbuying, and then something like you think, well, I'm not doing anything this week. I'm not going anywhere. So I need to buy this, this, and this for lunches. And then you end up going somewhere 2 or 3 days and you don't eat it and it runs, because that's what happens to me. That's what happens to me all the time, is I have these big plans for things that I'm going to cook or whatever, and then I get busy and I don't get it done. So another thing we can do is number 5, use reusable items. I've been really trying to do that. I have completely cut out using like the store's grocery sacks and stuff. Every once in a while, I'm not going to lie, every once in a while I'll let them put something in one, because I like those little plastic bags to use for my trash in the bathroom. So, you know, and then I thought, well, they're already made, and then that way I don't have to buy like you know, a whole box of little trash bags. So anyway, I do that most of the time, but I have so many reusable shopping bags that we use, and I have all the ones that you can, you know, that'll keep stuff cold, and I have the ice packs that you can put in them. Now, making myself remember to take the ice packs is always an issue. So sometimes I buy a bag of ice and put it in there just to keep stuff cold until we get home, because it hasn't been a problem this year. But whenever it's like 105 here in Oklahoma and the grocery store is an hour or more away from me, then yeah, we got problems. Like Target, if I go to Target, it's like an hour and a half away from me. So now we have done this. Have any of you all switched to LED bulbs? We have LED bulbs in our whole house. We did do that. And I mean, I do have to replace 2 in our bathroom, but those we put in when we bought this house, and that's been about, oh gosh, about 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago that we moved in, and so, um, I haven't replaced them in that long, so that helps. So, unplug energy vampires. I'm terrible about that. I don't do it because where my stuff is plugged in, it's not easy to get to, but I do try to unplug things like the crock pot. I always keep it unplugged. Even the toaster, Mark gets mad at me because he toasts toast or something just about every day. And he's always like, "Ah, the toaster wasn't plugged in." And I'm like, "Ugh." But I try, we don't use lights. Mark is like, ugh, he's crazy about it. If I walk out of a room and I could be walking to the laundry room to get a load of laundry and I'm gonna take it back to my room and fold it, he will get up out of his chair and go turn that light off in the bedroom. And then when I come back, I just have to turn it back on. And so I'm always telling him that actually takes more electricity than just letting it stay on for 2 minutes while I go get the laundry. You could tell what we fight over, right? Stupid stuff like, don't turn off the light, you know? So, but yeah, I do try to unplug the energy vampires. Can y'all think of any I might be missing? Because I don't unplug my refrigerator, obviously, or freezer, but I don't unplug the microwave, but I do the small appliances. So I don't know. Number 8, adjust the thermostat. And I don't think that there's a set temperature that is good because I keep mine set on 70 degrees year round, except for when Mark comes in and bumps it and then says, I didn't do it. And I'm like, well, it's only me and you. I mean, do we have a ghost? Is it a ghost? Did the ghost change it? I don't know. But so anyway, but 70 here in our house is cool, but not cold. But 70 at my daughter's house is frigid. So find that like what's happy in your house year round, right? And do that. Don't pay as much attention to the numbers because I swear thermostats can be different because our house is very energy efficient. Her house is very energy efficient. We built both and we did both very energy efficient purposely. We put extra insulation and thicker ceilings or not a ceiling roof and all this stuff. We really went above the normal when we were building them or having them built. And so they are very energy efficient. Like my air has only been on, I think once, maybe twice all day. And just for a few minutes, it just really holds the cool or the heat, either one. So we do that. But anyway, that's my little guideline on the adjust the temperature. Yeah, upgrade your insulation. We did do that one. And go solar if you can. We want to so bad. I keep hearing whispers that there's some kind of deal in Oklahoma where if you go solar that they'll actually like reimburse you a large portion of it. And so I really want to see if that's true. And now that I'm not dealing with cancer, I can kind of start, worrying about some of those other things that I, put off for a long time. So anyway, so there are those. But anyway, but my biggest concern out of all of this is the mental health of all of us when we're worrying about storms that shouldn't be happening in our areas or high electricity bills that we shouldn't be happening at certain times, or worrying about all the devastation in Texas or New Mexico or Hawaii or wherever, because like I said, we're empaths and we worry about that stuff. So while we're dealing with Aaron or Mother Nature or whoever the hell is screwing with us, I made like 5 slides, I think, of things that we can do. I think 3 of them are things that we can do. And then some are things where we can help. Okay. So I do want to bring a couple of those up real fast. These are fairly simple things because I'm all for what is simple. Because I just believe that if it's really hard, people aren't going to do it. Right. So the first one is I think the first rule for helping anything is to acknowledge how you're feeling, to admit you have a dependency, to whatever it is, it starts up here. We have to start with our brain and acknowledge what we're feeling. And in this kind of a situation, whether it be all of the devastating floods and all that, or just the crazy weather that is causing expensive utilities, or just whatever it is, feelings of, fear if there's going to be a tornado, or or what. Because I have lived this entire summer watching the sky every day to see if I think that there's going to be a tornado that day. And that's not normal, especially not by this time of year. So, I mean, there's always that rogue storm that it's like, damn, it's July and we're talking about tornadoes, but it's not the normal. So, and like yesterday, it literally stormed and rained here from like 7 o'clock in the morning until after dark last night. It was like 9 or something when it stopped. That's just not normal. It's just not normal. I mean, when Veta went home, and she didn't go home until like 8:30, I think. She took one of our umbrellas and she goes, "Oh, I like this one. It's big." So anyway, acknowledge what you're feeling, y'all. It's normal to feel anxious, sad, or even overwhelmed. Yeah, especially in a disaster, the aftermath of a disaster or something. That's normal. Hold on just a second. I clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. And feeling all that sadness and all that is part of the healing thing. It's just part of it. It just like whenever somebody dies, we have to go through the grieving process, and the whole process is what leads to us healing eventually, or sort of healing. I don't know if you ever heal from grief, but anyway, feeling fear, sadness, or anger in the aftermath of a disaster is common and part of the healing process, and that is from the American Psychological Association. And so we just have to acknowledge it. Once you acknowledge it, then you can say, okay, what's next? I know I'm stressed out. I know I'm incredibly sad. What do we do now? Well, limit media exposure. And this, I was doing so good until after I got this stuff all together last night. And then what did I do? I was so hyped up that I immediately went and started watching all the media on all these floods, which is the exact opposite of what I was going to tell you all to do today and what I had just put on these slides. So yeah, I don't mind my own rules most of the time. Too much doom scrolling or constant weather coverage of any kind, y'all, can heighten anxiety. Take breaks from watching, reading, or listening to the news stories. It can be upsetting to hear about the crisis repeatedly. And that's for Center of Disease Control and Prevention, the CDC. Now, this one made sense to me, and somebody, just a friend of mine, randomly said the other day that she feels like when she watches it, like on repeat, when she watches the same, about this, like let's just say it's a Texas flood, because that's like what we're dealing with today, that it's like that it is currently happening. When we know that the search and recovery is currently happening, but it makes her envision that it's still flooding, that people are, being right now, this moment, flood, swept downstream, and, that kids are sitting on roofs of camps scared to death. And that's not really what's happened at this point. That did happen. At this point, most of the kids or people that are going to be found safe have been found safe. They are safe. They are back with their families, or, whatever needed to happen. But watching the coverage over and over and over makes us, in our brain, maybe we don't think it, like, but in the back of our head, it's like it's still happening, that it is currently, like if I'm watching a tornado, a video about a tornado that's happening, I will start feeling like that it is, like, that it's still happening, like that's how my heart feels, how my, I get a catch in my breath. And they were saying, that friend of mine was saying she does it too. So I was looking into that a little bit last night, and it's very common that people do that. And that's why they say limit media exposure, because it has that kind of a effect of just doing that, it just rolls it over and over and over in your brain, and it makes you think that it's still happening all the time. And it can be with anything, school shootings, you know, anything. It could be anything. It's like that our brain is still in a fight or flight mode as if it was still happening currently. So anyway, stay connected to others, reach out to friends, family, community groups for emotional support, even if it's virtually, y'all. This is one of those times that they will tell you, even if it's virtually, at this point, you just need to talk to people. And I believe that. I truly do. Social support is one of the most effective tools for recovering from trauma. That is the Institute for Mental Health. So I very much think that is some good ideas. We've got some more, though. Let's see here. Sorry. Nope, that's not it. How did I do that? Okay, we're going to try again. Susie. Okay, number 4, take small, meaningful actions. Small actions change the world. Helping others or contributing to recovery efforts, if you're, able to do that kind of thing, even in a small way, it gives you a sense of purpose and control. So even if that is just sending a monetary donation or praying, of course, that's always going to depend on where you're at. If you're close to this, it becomes easier to like let somebody stay with you if their house has gotten washed away, or just, somebody, don't be like bringing in a bunch of strangers. Y'all got to stay safe. But, yeah, it really can give you a sense of help, or a sense of purpose, and resilience to help people. I remember whenever we did we went and did haircuts and manicures and pedicures and everything for the people in that Louisiana, that New Orleans thing, at Camp Gruber, and just to sit and listen to their stories, or to do something as silly as just a haircut or a manicure, pedicure, or something. It was just something that completely got their mind off of what was going on. And just like that little effort really, really, really can make a difference. Now, again, of course, we can't all do that, but if you can, do it, because it helps you. Helping someone else will always make you feel better every time. I guarantee it, even little things. Use a grounding techniques to calm the nervous system. Breathing, mindfulness, and grounding exercises reduce responses to the stress, y'all. It can honestly be as simple as touching grass. If you can walk out in your yard and get your feet in the grass, in the sand, if you're by a beach, the whole grass thing it just means nature. Be in nature, touch a tree, something in nature. You would be surprised. I mean, like Mischief, when her mind is racing, I know that that's part of why she's out there in those damn blackberries, it's keeping her mind busy and her body, and she's in nature. Now she's exhausted, and I need to spank her butt for getting too tired, but moderation, y'all. But yeah, use those grounding techniques. Touch grass. I have that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Slowly count backwards from 10 or 5 or 3, whatever it takes for you. 100 sometimes, right? Sometimes it's honestly what you need to do, and breathe while you're doing it. Close your eyes, breathe. Those are things that I do. Like when I get overwhelmed, especially like during chemo treatments, that's when I'm the most overwhelmed. When they turn that the actual chemo drug on and it starts going into my veins or into my port, it is one of the most stressful things in my life. I mean, I can't explain it, but it is. And I literally will count backwards from 10 very slow and just breathe. I'll close my eyes and breathe. By the time I hit about 3, I'm feeling pretty good. And if it don't work, I start over or I move on to another thing that I think might help. So, it seems so silly, but sometimes the very silliest things are the things that help the most and don't hurt. Those are free, right? So let's see what this one is. Maintain basic routines. That one's very important. When you're going through a really stressful time, the best thing you can do is stay with your recommended sleep schedule, Mare. Not what you and I do. Try to stick with a normal sleep pattern. Eat whenever you're supposed to eat. Don't just like, I'll drink this coffee and I can think about it later, or I'll drink this soda or this water or whatever. It is important to drink water and stuff, but don't drink your meals. Don't just think, well, I'll just, put up with this. No, sit down and have a meal where you sit down and eat. Regular movement helps regulate the mood and stabilize your emotions. So even in the worst of times, when you are stressed out, still go about your normal thing, if as best you can. It's going to always depend on what the situation is, always. But try to have some kind of a schedule and try to stick to it as best you can. Number 7 is know when to seek help. That's something that a lot of us don't know how to do, don't know what to do. I had to kind of do that a little bit today. It wasn't really help, but I absolutely hate asking anybody for help, or even if it's like help with a situation, like I don't really need them to do something, but can you help me with the situation or whatever, or a favor kind of thing. I hate that. And I think that a lot of you are probably that way because like I said, we're all empaths. I know we are. I can look at you guys and I know from everything that I've seen you do and say, that's how you are. That's why we're here. That's why we all land here, is because we're the same. We're completely different and exactly the same. So today I actually had to ask my aunt that we're going to go visit, that could my dad, he's going to go with us, could he stay with them? Because, well, for 2 reasons. First of all, I don't want him to spend all of his money that he works to save for. He's trying to save money. I don't want him to spend it on hotels, and the hotels are really expensive right now. But also, he's a little hard of hearing. Okay, he's a lot hard of hearing. And I'm afraid that he will turn the TV up too high at the hotel and get in trouble. And he refuses to go get a hearing aid. I think I'm just going to trick him and just say, we're going to lunch in Oklahoma City or Tulsa or whatever, and just take him to the damn doctor and get his ears checked. But anyway, so my aunt, her guest room is in their basement. So it, even if he's got it up a little bit, it's in the basement on the other end of the house from their bedroom. So he wouldn't be disturbing anybody. And I mean, I know he would try to keep it down, but I also know that, he likes to sit down and watch Heartland and stuff in the evenings. And so, I want him to be able to do that. So anyway, I asked her, and it took so long. I was just like, I don't want to ask her. I just hate to ask, can somebody stay with you? Or, So anyway, you should have seen my finger hovering over the send button on the message where I was going to send it. Well, anyway, I sent it and I told Mark, I go, see, I'm getting chill bumps just thinking about it because I don't like to ask for anything. But She answered back in like not even 5 minutes, and she doesn't just sit on her phone all the time, but she did answer back. And she's like, of course, she said, I would have you all stay, but you'd have to sleep on the couches and blah, 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 because we just have the one guest room. And I'm like, no, 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 no. I just want to have an option for him if he thinks, one, I can't afford that, or two, I want to be able to play the TV. So anyway, we're going to go talk to him later and see if he wants to stay with them. She's like, well, I've got some little handyman jobs that I'll get him to do. So y'all see, I seeked help with a situation that I was going through, and it turned out okay. So we all need to learn how to do that. And I guarantee you the next time that I have to ask for help, I'm still going to be freaking out. But we need to be able to do that. For one thing, I love helping someone. So having somebody ask me for help, unless they're just like, one of those people that will drain you dry, but if it's just like somebody needs me to do some little something, or, help them work through something, or help, take them somewhere, that kind of thing, it thrills me when they ask. So she was thrilled. My aunt was thrilled. So me sitting there for an hour typed, a little 3 or 4 line deal where I'm like, if not, it's okay. I promise it's fine. It's not a big deal. We'll figure it out, and then her being like, no, you can all stay here, then it made her feel good, just like it makes me feel good when somebody asks me for help. So we need to remember that probably the people that we're friends with are also empaths. So maybe they want you to ask for help. And if it helps you and it helps them, it's a double win. So educate yourself, not overwhelm yourself. Learning about preparedness, climate change, or how you can help victims, it empowers you. But you've got to avoid the overloading. And that goes with shut down the computer, shut down the TV, don't listen to the radio. Of course, watch and listen and learn, but not all the time, and maybe not right before you go to bed. Because if you're really upset when you go to bed, a lot of times you wake up upset. So focus on trusted sources and actionable information, and avoid conspiracies or panic-driven content. Look for those calm places that aren't just like, oh my God, this is horrible, or, 5 million dead and blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff is just going to upset you. So, and that came from the World Health Organization. So I think that's a pretty good source too. Okay, I think I've got, it's either 1 or 2 left. There are 2, I think. Oh, yeah, 2. Okay. Now, I did get this one that is just a list of things that you can do. Now, this is going to be centered mostly with the New Mexico people, because I'm going to put this in the, actually, I think I already did. If not, no, I didn't. I'm going to put this in the, in our community post. I already put the information about how you can help with the floods in Texas. So this one is more geared towards, the New Mexico ones, but they say that monetary donations are the most effective. Number 1, the Shelter Fund Community Foundation of Lincoln County. It supports local residents with immediate needs, temporary housing, repairs, or evacuation assistance. Donate online, and there is the link to that, or the page to that, or a small check payable to Community Foundation of Lincoln County. Note Shelter Fund, and there's the address there if you want that. Again, I'm going to put these in the community post when we get done with this video. So anyway, Emergency Action Fund for New Mexico Fire and Flood Relief. It's run by the Albuquerque Community Foundation, directly supports recovery needs in affected areas, including reduce, how do you say that? Ruidoso. I think they were saying Ruidoso last night. Okay. It supports, oh, here we go. Donate online via their platform. So you can look that up. Just punch in that, the Albuquerque Community Foundation, and it'll come up. yeah, or of southern New Mexico. You want to put that part though. And so the Community Foundation of Southern New Mexico supports Lincoln, Otero, Rio, Arriba, San Juan counties. Over $1 million has already been raised for recovery. So that's amazing, but that's not going to go far, y'all. You cannot. It's bad. I mean, I think that we're not hearing as much about it because there wasn't two actually camps that were destroyed, and missing children. That I think we automatically hear more about it when it's children. Now, the boys' camp that's 6 miles up the road, and I cannot remember the name of it, and it's one of those things I know, and I didn't write down because I was like, I know that, and I didn't take time to grab my notes. But it was destroyed too. And I mean, but they didn't have any missing kids and no deaths at that, no missing anybody and no deaths at that camp. That would be the one that the twin brother and the twin sister, she was at one and he was at the boys camp, but they had early warning detection stuff there. And so they knew ahead of time, but apparently they couldn't get a hold of the cell service is terrible. And they could not get a hold of Mystic to warn them. So, anyway, and their camp does sit a little bit on higher ground. We're at Mystic. The youngest of the kids, the 8-year-olds, were closest to the water. And so it's mostly going to be those 8-year-olds that are missing or gone. So anyway, but again, the mental health of all this for the families there is just, that's why I've still got our little candle up in the corner, y'all. I just want to remind everybody to pray or whatever that you do, you do what you do kind of thing. And just keep those people. We just need to hold space for those people because the mental health issues are going to go on for a long, long time. I thought that some of my family, that once their friends were found, regardless of the outcome, I knew that then that if it wasn't good, that they would have to then go through a grieving process. But I honestly think they're in a worse place right now than they were whenever they were missing, because when they were missing, they still had hope, and now they don't. They absolutely don't have hope. They are faced with it's unimaginable, y'all. And these aren't simple drownings. This is water with cars and trees and houses and everything you can imagine. Think tsunami. I mean, it's that kind of devastation. It wasn't just like a flood. This was more like a tsunami, but it's not the ocean. It is a river overflowing. And so it's horrible. So anyway, I am going to see what my chat has to say. I have jabbered much longer than I intended to. I'm just in a talkative mood. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that's how I'm kind of working through this, I don't know. But I do want to check with the chat and see where y'all are at with it, right? Yes, Jersey, it is all Aaron's fault. I am going to stand by that. Scooter's anti-cult report. Good to see you. Thank you. Apparently I'm funny. I can be sometimes, but I struggle with, do I want to be funny when something is serious, or do I want to stay serious? And I don't know. Sometimes I just think that laughter is the best medicine. And so even though I was a little scared, I'm like, I'm going to throw this up there. No, I'm not. Yeah, I will. No, I'm not, kind of deal. But I thought, well, they surely won't hate me. Jersey says, we got cows. We do too. Yep, we got cows. Okay. I have got to hook up I don't know. At this point, it's me, because Mark can come over on my computer and it works fine. So the Journey 2020 says we're middle-aged people. We're middle-aged people back when we were kids, as stressed out about world events like we are right now. Is it a middle-aged thing? I don't know. I've wondered that very same thing. So, what do y'all think? Anybody in the chat? You may have already answered it because I'm way behind. Do you all think that? I don't know. I don't remember my mom and dad like being quite so freaked out over stuff whenever I was growing up. I don't remember them, I don't remember them being like that. So, I don't know. Yeah, I if you're still here, Vernon, it was my relatives' friends, but yeah, they found them. It wasn't good. Um, this is Yeah, they were cloud seeing 2 days before, but the same government that said the vax was the safest vax ever and there was no Epstein list said the two had nothing to do with each other. Yeah, I know. I know. It's been kind of scary. He says, I saw a video of how fast the floodwaters rose, filmed from a bridge. Unbelievable stuff. Yeah, I saw that video like that too. I don't know if it's the same one, but anyway, there was a bridge, like an overpass. These people were filming it from an overpass and they were looking down at this other area. And the road was completely clear. And you could see the water, it was over there, but it wasn't right by the road. And within 4 minutes, it looked like a lake over that road in 4 minutes. It is crazy. Yeah, it is so heartbreaking, Mare, the whole thing. Yeah, yeah. It is, Kim. It's Kimberly. It's hard. It is absolutely, this whole thing is horrible. Yeah. Here we go. We humans have ticked off Mother Nature and she's not having it anymore. I know it. Ugh. I believe it. I just laugh because it's so dang true, right? Awaken says, I hate this so much. It sounds conspiracy ridden, but there are so many agendas at play right now. I don't understand how people can't see it. I know, and it's from everywhere. It is just awful. It's like it's everything. I mean, it is everything. I'm not blaming anybody. I'm saying it's everywhere. It is crazy. And the sad thing is some conspiracies turn out to be true. Yeah, Journey. I would think the social workers and those trained in disasters would be in the surrounding areas or deployed. I think that there are more like those kind of help, more people like for the mental health part of it, they were Johnny on the spot. They jumped up and was helping. It's the recovery in New Mexico. Now, the recovery and everything is great in Texas. And I don't mean I'm not down on the whole thing in Texas at all. That's how it's supposed to be. That's what New Mexico should be having as well, not instead of or anything. It should be that way everywhere, but it's not. And that's what's got me so scared. I did like that, like even those girls from Camp Mystic, when they bust them down, first they were in a military truck, in the back of a military truck, but they got them to, or they were in a boat and then a military truck, and then they got to a school bus. And they took them to one, I don't remember if it said a church or a school. Church, I think. They took them to this one place and they had doctors and stuff there and they checked them all over, got them a little bit cleaned up. I mean, within reason, not like showers and all that, but like mud and, that kind of stuff off of them. And while they checked them out, and then they let the parents know these children are on the way to this place. And so then they loaded the kids on the bus and took them to that place. So they checked them out medically and all that, and told the parents. But there was parents on there last night that were saying that, while they were waiting, it was the ones with the twins. And so they were waiting for their daughter. But she said there were so many parents that were there for hours and hours and hours waiting for the next group of kids, praying that their kids would be in that group. And it's awful. Yeah. Kimberly, you are absolutely right. I think it will be weeks before we really know how many were lost. And I don't think they'll ever find them all. I don't think they will. Not with the kind of destruction that water and everything that was in it can do. I don't think they'll find some of them. Yeah, I'm surprised at no update on the number of missing in New Mexico. Yeah, they didn't have a number. They didn't even have one. And that's really bothering me. I am going to try to look again today right before I came on. They did not have any numbers other than what I gave you. But I'm going to keep on. And if I get a good one, just in case somebody misses it, I will put it in the like a good solid number. I don't mean good like it's going to be good, God. But I'll put it in the community post if I find out anything that's reassuring or even not. So yeah, I can't imagine it either. I can't imagine. I know that when tornadoes have hit here, it has just been devastating, and often when you're actually not individually, but when the crews are out actually trying to find survivors or not, um, another storm will hit, or it'll be pouring down rain, and it's awful. Same thing like in Hawaii with the fires and stuff. It is just awful. Awaken says, I tried sharing Oliver Anthony's speech that left 4,000 people stunned. That's the title. And it wouldn't let me. And immediately after they took features away on my channel, I suggest looking into it. I sure will. I sure will. Yeah, I am very just unhappy and very vocal about it with YouTube. And I think that is hurting me in the long run, because I don't think they're putting my channel out like they were. Because I have people that I've been worried about that the views are going down and stuff. And I talked to some people last night and then today that said that they don't see any kind of notifications or they don't see my stuff unless they actually go look for it. And they've just kind of assumed that I've been taking a break, and I'm not. I've been here more than normal, actually. So anyway, I'm really upset with a lot that YouTube is doing. And I think, and that can sound very conspiracy theory, but I think it's the truth. And I was watching some videos for people that have huge YouTube channels, and they were saying that does happen, especially to small channels, that YouTube can be kind of a bitch. So Kimberly says the New Mexico government is terrible. Yeah, and they have bad budget problems. Yeah, I know. Awaken says, not trying to be political, but Scooter's anti-cult reporter. I have been looking into the Big Beautiful recently, and we'll be sharing it hopefully soon. Researched over the last 3 decades. Wow, it's a lot to sort. Yeah, I know that you've been looking into that. I know. I'm looking forward to it. It's above my ability to look into something that deep and everything. So I'm really looking forward to what you've got on it. So absolutely. Why is this not? There we go. Yeah, I believe in oscillating climate variability or verifiability. Yeah, but human-made climate change, but not human-made climate change. I don't know that I actually believe in it. I think that we need to do things that will help it. Does that make sense? I don't know that we are the cause of it, but I think that that some of the things that we're doing could help if we would switch it around a little bit. Recycling. I've never went to the recycling center that I didn't feel good. Seriously, there's a lot in it, and it certainly doesn't hurt anybody. Kimberly says, I haven't heard anyone argue that the climate isn't changing, only that it's always changed. Well, that is true, and that humans can't prevent it. Just like the thing that I showed. It was saying that we've warmed up 2 degrees since 1880. So that shows that it always has. I don't know that we can prevent it. I'm hoping we can slow it. So I'm not so deep into the whole theory of it that I think that we're going to correct it. I don't think we can fix it. I'm hoping we can slow it, and that might help. I don't know. even a little. Besides, the things that they want us to do are not like bad things. So Mischief says, I think that changes on the sun and the crap they're spraying all over our heads has more to do with it than the cars we do. I do too. I do believe that. And I mean, you and I have different opinions on a lot of it, but we also have very similar opinions on a lot of it. So, I mean, it's like we're really not that different in what we think. We just kind of get to it from a different direction. But I agree with you. I think that a lot of it has to do with the sun and what's going on in space. And I think that that includes, space travel and that kind of thing. That's why I can't really be for it, although I think it is amazing and cool and that whole thing. But at the same time, I think that that is hurting us in the long run. And all the chemicals and stuff that are being sprayed and all that, I have gone, and I know I'm one little lady in Oklahoma, but you should see, I need to do a whole live on that and bring out my little basket of stuff. Like I have, different essential oils, and I'm not a big like essential oil person. I don't go buy like from the culty essential oil things. But I do, like one of the things that I do whenever I have a headache is I use peppermint oil. I use it all the time. I use it if I'm having, congestion problems. I don't do it for the show because then my nose is all just, it looks like a mass of oil on my face. So I don't do it for the shows. But when I go back in there, if y'all walk in unannounced, you're going to see me with all this oil on my temples and under my nose and everything. I have oils that I use for whenever I'm having swelling and stuff, because I have a lot of issues with inflammation. I have oils for toothaches and stuff. I use natural things like cinnamon to try to deter the snakes from eating all my chicken eggs, except for the one. It had rained and rained and rained and rained. Apparently it washed away all the cinnamon, and then Mark eventually did kill the thing, and then it ended up in my bedroom. So yeah, I'll have to tell you that one, Mischief. I saw her go, what? It was dead and headless, but one of the dogs, Mags, carried it in and laid it down belly up as a gift. There you go. At least it wasn't on my bed. At least it wasn't on my bed. The other day, we don't know where she got it, but Poppy came in with a snake head. So somebody somewhere has killed a snake by cutting off its head, and I don't even know what kind it was because it was just the bones. So, and yeah, I'm always the one that finds it. Always. And I'm the one that's terrified of snakes. Awaken says it is also above a particular set of humans. They are increasing funds, for climate control, but taking them away from mental health, disabled, homeless, etc. I agree. We're in agreement. Heat says, I love vegetarian food, but I could never commit to a vegetarian diet. I just about could. Whenever my son-in-law was in, when he was deployed in the Middle East, in Iraq, my daughter, Katie, stayed with us, and she made a lot of stuff that was vegetarian and even vegan. And I got to where I was like really accepting of it. And like a lot of times whenever I go out, there are times that I will go with the vegetarian or even vegan options just because I like them. But yeah, I understand it being hard because every once in a while I really do want a steak or a hamburger. And I want like a real one, like not a fake one. If you look through the temperatures for the past 500,000 years, you can see temperatures fluctuate. I agree. It's not the meat and dairy. It's the industrial farming. You're right, Mischief. Get back to sustainable permaculture. Absolutely. I agree. That's why I really do try to get from locally sourced, except for I did. It's not local, y'all, but it is like it's local to somebody, right? Because I did order from that meat place in Tennessee that was so mad at Reese. So I did do that. Oh my God. I ride a turtle to the store to go green. Well, you could just about ride Megan and them's tortoise. I'll have to get you some pictures of Clover. He says energy efficient, but not time efficient. Not too bad. Yeah, definitely not time efficient. Okay. He says, yes, I live alone, so it's hard to use things before they go bad. Yeah, I saw that. And Mare said she freezes it. I do too, but I don't know. I just get so fed up with myself. And I'm like bad about textures. Remember we had that whole chestnut one night, that sometimes like stuff that I freeze, like spaghetti or something, if it changes the texture at all, I'm like, mm-mm. So we're going to see. I'm going to make a soup today that has tortellini in it. And no, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Making a tortellini tomorrow because it's more time consuming than the casserole that I'm going to make. But I'll have to, if it's easy and it's the right proportions, I'll have to tell you guys. Yeah. Jersey says, I buy foods and forget about it until it goes bad. I hate that, but it still happens. This girl, it's terrible. Or Mark will put it in the refrigerator in places that I would not have put it. And so I don't think to look there. And I'm not griping about it. At least he put it up, right? But like, I won't think to look there. And so, and he's been doing a lot of our grocery shopping because I absolutely hate to go to the grocery store. And I'm usually working on a live. So he puts it all up and then I never know. Mischief eats leftover cold spaghetti for breakfast. I just don't like cold spaghetti. I have eaten it where it's like not refrigerator cold, but like I've sat too long and it's gotten cold and I'll eat that. But I don't know. I do love spaghetti though. I'm fixing that someday this week too. Dad loves it. I always fix spaghetti and I always fix a side of yellow squash. I don't know why. I know I could even put it in with the spaghetti, but I don't. I make a side of yellow squash, just boil it and put butter in it every single time. I don't know why. And it's not one of those things my mom did, so I do it. Yeah, Scooter says, I grew up eating leftovers for days. It doesn't bother me at all. We do, but I get tired of them after a couple of days, and Mark could eat them. He could eat the same thing for a month if I wasn't there saying, that is over the point of, I don't have to take you to the hospital. So, but yeah, he still would. I'm one to talk. I could eat some things every day for weeks, probably. Yeah, Mischief says, when you cooked for a family of 5 for years and years, it's hard to dial that back. Absolutely. I still have such a hard time. And for the last, few years, I was even cooking for mom and dad. So like I was already cooking, even when it was just me and Mark, I was still cooking for more people, which I still try to cook for dad some because bless his heart. He's a good cook, but I want him to have somebody to cook for him, but not a woman. It has to be me or Megan. Mom said no. She was serious about it too. Awaken says, Mr. Todd, I agree. Nature does fluctuate, but I also can't deny that the atmosphere has changed due to pollution, chemicals from air traffic, fracking. Yeah, I'm an Okie who did HR for big oil. It can't hurt. Oh, the fracking. Girl, I could do a whole week of lives on the fracking thing. I just get so mad. And we have all these earthquakes in Oklahoma, and it's from fracking. Yeah, Awaken says, I do agree that cow flatulence is not the problem. No, I don't think so. Mr. Todd, also all the temperatures do seem to be higher now in compared to the past, but that is only because of where they read the temperatures. That's, some true to that, but at the same time, like some places are cooler, but most of them are higher, and I really worry about like the Arctic. I worry about that. So yeah, if you take the temperature outside of the cities, Yeah, the numbers change quite a bit. The abundant amount of concrete and steel in cities increase those temperatures. Absolutely. You know, it is so weird. Like last year when we were having those 100 and something degree days constantly, it would actually be hotter out here in the sticks than it was in the city. And I had never seen that. I had never seen it, but it was that way last year. Mayor's, I can't imagine, Mayor, that you're guilty of doom scrolling. You and me. Yeah, Heat, I appreciate these debates. I'm somewhat of a slow learner, so it's nice to hear what my friends think. And the thing is I have found out by simply having discussions and not being afraid to have those discussions. Honestly, and I still don't want to be a political type thing, but even politics, so much of the time, we are not far apart. We think we are, but we're really not, especially just the normal. Now, if you take like the very, very, very left, people or the very, very right people, yeah, they are miles apart. But those of us that are more, centric, we're so much more alike. And the majority of us are more centric. Kimberly says, Mr. Todd, agreed. Pollution is bad enough as a standalone issue. I do think they're doing better with that though. Yeah, there was this thing that I saw when I was watching that that couple on YouTube yesterday, and they were in Oregon. They were at a what were they at? An aquarium. And outside of the aquarium were all of these they were unimaginably great sculptures, but they were all made out of trash that had been found along the beaches of Oregon. And there were several of them, and there were these huge sculptures, and it just broke my heart. And he even said, they're so beautiful and yet so disturbing to think that, that much just garbage. What really gets me is whenever I look into the stuff online or on the news where they show those massive things that are like as big as Texas that are just trash floating in the ocean. And I'm like, oh my God, because even though we are trying, the US is trying to be very diligent about that kind of stuff and take care of our garbage, other places aren't, and they are just loading it off into the ocean. It's crazy. Mr. Todd said, awakened, I do believe that we should take care of the earth. I just don't believe the tale they tell. I agree with you to a point. Again, we're probably very close to agreeing completely with each other. I do believe that there's some to it. I just don't believe all of it. So we're probably much more on the same page in many ways. Yeah, that's another problem. Not enough people willing to listen or to do their own due diligence. Healthy debates are how I love to learn. I do too. I'm not afraid of those kind of things. It is terrifying, especially online, because, a lot of it, you can't see, like if you're like just typing and stuff, you can't see tone and all that. And it's really easy to just get pissed and just walk off, where you wouldn't do that if you were having a conversation in person. But I really do like to hear other people's opinions of things. And like I say, I'll say, like, if I think that we agree with something, I'll say that. If I think that we're worlds apart, I'll say that. And we have to be adults and be able to do that kind of thing. I really believe that. Pippi's late again. Aw, not a problem. Awaken says, love this great topic. Thank you for this. Thank you. Thank you. I've been really trying to pick topics that I think people might be interested in, because I don't know. If y'all have ideas, let me know, because I am all about looking stuff up, but sometimes it's hard for me just to think of what to look up. Grounding doesn't mean grabbing the ground wire, in case anyone asks. Mayor. Yeah. Grounding means, settling down, calming down, finding your center, not grabbing a ground wire. Yeah. I should have cleared that up. Ben says, yes, look for something our ancestors would recognize. We weren't designed to be so separated from nature. Yeah, it really helps the brain. I agree. I am a firm believer. I say it all the time. Y'all probably get sick of me. Touch grass, touch a tree, get your hands in the dirt, walk on the beach, whatever it is, stomp in a mud puddle, feel that dirt between your fingers or your toes or whatever. It washes off, like when Veta goes outside and she comes in filthy from head to toe and Megan's like, I'm like, it washes off. And if it's not freezing cold outside, which she's not outside doing that when it's freezing cold, get her butt out there and spray her down with a water hose. She probably like it. And then the majority of the mess is already, taken care of for you. Craig Gig in the Sky says, moderation historically has not been my strong suit. Me either. When you have been spending too much time online and around computers and TV, it's reality. The reality of silent slowness almost seems chaotic. I know, right? It does. It really does. Awaken says, have you seen the Earthling movie? I've not seen that. I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Earthing, yeah. I'll try to leave a link later today in my post so you can check it out. Oh, thank you, Awakened. Yeah. Ben says, it's also important to find something real, not a copy of something, but a real tree, a real rock, real wood, etc. Yeah. We are a species getting far too used to imitation things. That is true. That is true. Aw, Mary says, I missed climbing trees. I really enjoyed it. Please don't. Don't do that now. Why would I not put it past you? Just no. Do I need to call the chef and be like, lock the door? If you can't find her, look up. She's in a tree. Yeah. Scooter Mare, she says, Mare, I'm at the point where I'm afraid to get down on the ground. I may not be able to get back up again. I know. Like when I fell at the freaking airport. Oh, no wonder I don't want to fly anymore, right? I'm like, road trip. That's good for me. Heat says, I'm pretty sure gravity has been slowly increasing over the last 10 years. Yeah. So many jokes I could make about that, but I'm going to try to stay mature. Yeah, try to spend time with authentic people, not people who perform. Stop confusing attention with love. That is true. Hey, Maria. She says, hi, Susie. It's been a while. Internet, videos, notifications, comments, appears and disappears whenever, plus summertime. Yeah, right now I'm sleeping standing and it's early. Oh, wow. Wow, it is early there. Well, I'm glad you're here now and please come back. Oh, yeah, they get along great, Vernon. He says, do you think my dad will say yes? Oh, yeah, they get along great. I'll have to do a whole live, maybe on the one where I'm just answering questions and stuff. I'll tell you all about it. They are great people. I love them. She's an RN. He's like a kind of a highfalutin lawyer. Like he's argued in front of the Supreme Court and stuff. So they are just really smart and really amazing, but so freaking down to earth. I mean, like whenever I was hearing all of their, especially him and my cousins, they're lawyers and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, I was like, oh, I don't know. They may, I may not get along with them. They might be hoity-toity or whatever, but no, they are awesome people. My dad loves them and they love him. So it'll be great. We would probably all stay there, except for they really do just have one guest room. So, and I think Mark's sister is going to go with us. Karen, the one that went to Savannah with us, pretty sure she's going too. Heat says, I have terrible dreams if I go to bed upset. I do too. I do too. And so if I'm upset over anything, I'll just make myself stay awake until I feel okay. Because if I'm still upset, I'm going to have dreams all night long and they're going to be bad. I watch true crime channels right before bed and then have to get up for every noise in the night. Do you know? Now, this is weird. This is coming from the girl that if I'm upset, that I won't let myself go to sleep. But I used to watch all those true crime things to make myself go to sleep. Like, I actually, whenever I was going through all my surgeries and all this stuff, I slept in another bed in another room because I had to sleep just like this. Like I couldn't move. I had to keep everything so still because there was so much. I don't have a lot of, my upper body is small compared to my bottom. Okay. I'm very petite through here, through all of this. And so they were really worried about stitches opening up and all this stuff. And so I had to sleep in just certain ways. I would leave the pillows. I'd make the bed, but I would leave the pillows in a certain way so that I could lay there. And so, yeah, I would lay in that certain spot and watch all of these, crime shows one after the other until I fell asleep. And that never upset me because I already knew that those had already happened and that they were already, solved or whatever. But it's stuff that current stuff is what just, I can't sleep at all. So, yeah, dump it into a journal or a creative avenue like poetry, art. Yeah, instead of, yeah, scrolls. Yeah, before bed, less nightmares too. Absolutely. I need to get back to painting. I used to paint constantly. And this last time that I went through chemo, I haven't painted in like a year and a half, other than those Christmas cards that I did. But I'm feeling more myself, so I'm thinking that maybe my hands won't be as shaky and I might try to paint a little bit. I've sold so many paintings and I've got people that buy them quite a bit. I've got one woman that she literally has like 10. And I mean, they're in like every room of her house. And so she's like trying to get me to paint more. So I need to do that. But you're right. Art therapy, music therapy, those kind of things are amazing. You play thunderstorms like like one of those sound machines. Oh yeah, I can sleep really good if it's just like a low rumbling thunder, not like boom and all that. Like yesterday, all I wanted to do was sleep and I didn't, but that's all I wanted to do because we just had a slow, quiet thunder off in the distance and a lot of rain all day. Yeah. Mischief says for bedtime, ASMR is great. There's something for everyone. It's not just people eating or tapping on things. Yeah, I need to look into some of that stuff because they say that there's like really soothing stuff too, but I don't know. I haven't ever done it. Mary says bad weather, Aaron's fault, bad movie, Aaron's fault, everything's Aaron's fault. I'm just I'm gonna revive the Aaron's fault thing. Ben says, I think it's part of what happens after you look at the world around you. Yeah, that we're getting older and we're more nervous than like we're our parents like that. Yeah, because whenever I was younger, I was bothered by stuff, but not like I am now. Oh wow, Mare. I grew up during the Cold War. We were terrified. Yeah, I can imagine. I just can't imagine. Like I know how I was whenever friends or my son-in-law or whatever was like deployed. I don't think I even slept the whole time he was deployed, like through the night or even close until he came home. And I just slept literally for like 3 days. And then I woke up and started worrying about everybody else that was still over there. Eric Levitt says, I used to listen to some relaxing and soothing music on YouTube that helps my high functioning autism, ADHD, anxiety, and stress. It helped. Yeah, oh, I can't think of his name right now. Crap. It's actually, My mind is just, what is his name? Oh man. There's a channel and he plays that kind of stuff at night on his channel, which helps him get hours, view hours, but he also, he plays all that stuff. He's Jimena's boyfriend. I can't think of his name, and I know it. Oh, it just drives me crazy. Earth's Revenge, Mother Nature. Yeah. What humans have done, some here in Greece. Yeah. Same here in Greece. Yeah, I agree. We've done some terrible things to the planet, but I also just think that what I think of is all of the pesticides and all of the space travel and all of the, airplanes and everything. I think that it's all having an effect. Yeah, the thing with internet and YouTube and all that's true. Absolutely. I've been composting and recycling for over 40 years. That is so great, Mayor. I've not been doing it that long. I'm not afraid to say. My youngest daughter, Katie, has been doing it ever since she moved out. She was, in her late teens, early 20s. Well, late teens. She got married at like 18. But she's constantly she recycles, she composts, she does all that. We compost and we recycle. We try to buy reusable things. We try to not use trash bags. I still use the trash bags in my kitchen trash, but now if I could find a good alternative, I would. Now we don't use near as many because so much stuff goes to recycling and in the compost, so we don't use as much. But I am looking for a good. I switched to mostly. I fall back into the whole Tupperware thing, but I keep them for years, so that does help. But I mostly use glass containers for like leftovers and all of that kind of thing. I'm trying, but I'm not great, but I do try. Kimberly says, well, I'd offer you a place to stay if you came through Colorado. But I have several pet snakes, including a couple of 8 or 9 footers, so should I bother? Are they in like an aquarium type thing? I don't care if I know they're there. I just don't want one sneaking up on me. So, yeah, here's the thing about the cow flatulence argument, coupled with telling everyone to go vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for 45 years, and let me tell you, I'm more flatulent than those cows. Absolutely. Y'all, I ate broccoli cheese soup last night. And I was in the room getting ready for this show today, and Vetta walked in, and I was just like, is she gonna notice? And she's so cute, and she's like, Grandma? I'm like, I'm sorry. Oh, Jersey says, comment. I just got a notice that Shaska, Colorado, that makes beautiful glass beaded bracelets and necklaces are donated 100% of their net profits to Kerr County flood relief. Aw. Yeah, there's a lot of people that are doing, not a lot, but there are several places that are doing that kind of thing. I just think it's beautiful. I really do. People helping people is, as crazy as this world is, most people are good. And I don't care what religion or politics, or I don't care any of that. Most people are good. There's going to be a few assholes. Yeah, eat more pizza now. Hey, I hadn't seen you in a while. No matter how old we get, flatulent jokes are still funny. Yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you been? Now. So anyway, I am gonna go. I've got to get ready for my 6:30 Central Time show. I think it's all here. I think I'm actually ready for it, but I'm in a panic because this one, I was like, couldn't find it. I had it all written up and then I couldn't find it. And I thought, oh, I've deleted it. And so I even looked in my deleted stuff on my iPad. It wasn't there. So I actually rewrote it at an hour before the show was supposed to start. I went through it and was like trying to rewrite my like prompts and all of that stuff. Yeah, all your snakes are in enclosures. We're good, Kimberly. We're good. Yeah. Well, guys, I'm going to go, and I will see you all later tonight. I hope it's at, in a couple hours. If you're not busy doing something else, be sure and be here. It's at 6:30 Central, and it's going to be a little more serious. It's about a cult, but yeah, I think it's the German one. I've got so many cults running through my mind, but I'm pretty sure it's the German Baptist. So anyway, I'll see you then. I love you guys. Bye.
Hope you enjoyed the show, so glad you were here. We meet here most days, we're but first coffee and you're welcome here. We talk about hard subjects, but we also laugh a lot. If you have a loss or win, we will cheer for you. We're but first coffee, and you are safe here. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe buttons, notifications set to all. You don't want to miss a show, because this is your home to y'all. So hit those like and subscribe